Good evening and welcome to another edition of FSU Weather. Today's date is September 6th, 2013. I'm student meteorologist Nikki Perini.
And I'm student meteorologist Lauren Viss, and we're so excited you decided to tune in with us on this Friday evening. And so we're going to give you a look at our tropics right now. Obviously, we do have a better tropical segment coming up, a little more detailed one coming up later in the show, but we just want to give you an outlook of the season so far, what it's been so far, and what we might be looking at.
Exactly, and so far it hasn't been too crazy out there.
It really has not been very active. Only 7 tropical storms so far. That's really unusual. Only 7 named storms.
Definitely.
No hurricanes going into September,
Not
which is again
one.
very unusual.
Very unusual. We will be reaching the peak of hurricane season, though, the 10th of September. So hopefully we'll get a little bit more action in the tropics. We have some more information to get out to you guys, but as of just now, really nothing much.
Exactly, and that is for a very good reason. Actually, everything so far has been favorable, very favorable for development. You probably remember NOAA put out their outlook, and it is for and above season, and halfway through the season, they again gave an outlook for and above normal season.
Once more.
Exactly, and that's because water temperatures are very warm, the shear is very good right now. There's one problem, though, and that is dry air coming off the Sahara right now.
With the tropics, you know, it's kind of like building a cake. If you don't have one of those ingredients, or one is missing, or one's too much, it just does not go through, and that's really just what we're seeing. But
exactly, and the next couple of days we'll also be seeing the Saharan air layer that's going to play a big difference in our tropical development. It's going to hamper it until early next week, and that's when we might start to see things ramp up a little bit.
Exactly.
But Alex will give you a look at that just a little bit later. Now I'm going to give you a look at your overview right now. Take a look at your radar. Nothing earlier in the day, but you can see that sea breeze really developing. A lot of those thunderstorms coming up very quickly, right around that 3 p.m. hour. That's pretty typical for our sea breeze, and we bring them straight up from the coast. You can see this here, and we'll see it one more time. It's too cool for a meteorologist. This is awesome to see the sea breeze bringing in that really moisture and triggering those thunderstorms each and every afternoon. Again, nothing severe yet, but there may be a shower or two or a rumble of thunder as you go out in the afternoon. Current temperatures right now, though, 84 degrees in Tallahassee, 74 down in St. Mark, 78 in Carabel. You can tell very clearly where the sea breeze has come through and where it has not yet. Where the sea breeze has come through, 79 in Perry's, while we're seeing 70s and 80s, and then where it has not come through in the interior sections of southern Georgia, 95 still in Bainbridge, and 90 as well in Quincy, so still very warm there. Your heat indices are also telling this story. 89 in Tallahassee. We've cooled down. We were almost at 100 earlier this afternoon. Still 104 degrees for your feel-like temperature in Bainbridge right now. But for your weather headlines, just a stormy weekend for tonight, or a stormy night tonight through your weekend. It looks a little bit drier, and Tropical Depression 8 has formed. But again, Alex is going to have a little bit more information on that depression as we head into the second half of the show, so you can look forward to that.
Thank you so much, Lauren. Nice little overview there. But speaking of stormy weather, actually over in western Washington, we had a incident report with lightning. A man driving a motorcycle actually got struck through his helmet and is still alive.
That's incredibly rare. He actually said he is very lucky to be alive. It's very, very rare. It actually struck his helmet. Witnesses say that they saw the bike light up.
Which I am not surprised about at all. Once he did get to the hospital, he did have one of those witnesses drive him to the hospital, and only minor burns to his ears.
Exactly. Very unusual. Again, if it really was not even safe for a car to be outside, definitely not safe for a motorcycle. Please, guys, get inside if you hear any thunder.
Let's go ahead and send it out to the wall now with Raquel.
Of 74 degrees tonight. We're going to start seeing these temperatures just drop as we head more into the fall season, but the record low for today was 62 degrees. Hopefully we start seeing those temperatures soon. Current conditions right now, 83 degrees, partly cloudy, and that dew point's at 71, and that's very humid for this time of year. So we're going to continue seeing that humid conditions. And we're going to just take a look at our radar now. We do see that sea breeze just bringing in that moisture out of the Gulf. We did have a severe storm warning not too earlier today. It was actually east of Perry, and apparently it has dissipated already. So it's starting to look a little bit quiet right now in our region, but those storms will pop up as we see more moisture just building into our area. Current temperatures right now, 83 in Tallahassee, 90 in Quincy, 95 in Bainbridge. Still pretty warm up there, but as we head down to the southeast, 79 in Perry, So it is still quite a warm afternoon. Current heat index, again, Bainbridge, 104 degrees. It feels like 104 degrees out there. Very, very warm, so you might just want to stay hydrated and just maybe stay indoors. Don't put yourself in that heat. Don't torture yourself. Current winds right now, we do see a nice westerly breeze by the coast, 3 miles per hour. And as if we head into our southeast, we don't really see that much breeze for Perry, which is really surprising because we did have all those severe storms earlier. Here's our futurecast. We had that cold front just above us not too long ago, bringing us those storms, but has dissipated and a nice ridge will be pushing into our area, leaving us with drier conditions. So we will not see too much rain this weekend. Rain chances will start to diminish as we head into this weekend, but they will start to rise up as we head into mid next week. So again, with our futurecast, we see that high pressure system. For tonight's forecast, we're going to see a low of 72 degrees, partly cloudy, mild, and muggy. That's with the humidity I was mentioning earlier. For tomorrow's forecast, 92 degrees, partly cloudy, and then the storm chances will continue to fall. So you might not want to carry your umbrella tomorrow. For your 7-day forecast, again, you're going to have a nice weekend. Temperatures are going to be in the low 90s. And as we head into mid next week, you're going to start seeing temperatures drop very, very slightly. But we're going to send it off to Chris with our southeast forecast.
Thank you, Raquel. And we saw a humid and hot day across the state of Florida today. And actually, we got rain-cooled air in Orlando, 74, but still keeping the heat on down in South Florida, Miami, 89, and 87 for you folks in Key West. And it was humid here in Tallahassee, and we're going to see another day tomorrow, maybe a little less humid. We are going to see drier conditions presumed for your weekend, so a good day to make outdoor plans and enjoy that sunshine because we'll see less amount of rain and more sunshine, more blue skies. Now, heat indexes, though, will be on the rise today and throughout the weekend. So although it will be drier, it's still going to be hot. 88 right now is the heat index in Tallahassee, and this is just basically what it feels like. But look at Shreveport, 101 degrees, quite warm over there, and 97 degrees in New Orleans. That's quite humid, and that's because of that humid air. It makes it feel so much hotter with all that moisture around. Now look at Florida just blow up with those thunderstorms and the sea breeze. It's just like the whole peninsula just saw drenching today. Just missed Tallahassee. And we could see maybe a pop-up shower throughout the evening. So if you have any outdoor plans tonight, just keep that in mind. Don't forget that umbrella in your car. But there's those showers again as I move out of the way. You can see those storms just pop up from Gainesville southward to Orlando and Tampa due to that Atlantic sea breeze and just the convergence of thunderstorms and those big cumulus clouds you see in the day. Those are what produce all those heavy rains and lightning that we see in the summer. Now, water vapor across the region shows the moisture right over Florida, right there, bullseye, right over Orlando and Gainesville, a little bit to the east of us. But we have a stalled out front just across the panhandle and up along the Atlantic coast, and that's what's giving us this chance of rain and moisture. But the high pressure is going to dominate, as you see here, and kind of kick that out. And so we're going to see drier rain chances and a more brighter forecast for your weekend, although it still will be hot, but it won't feel as humid and muggy as we have been these past few days, and definitely not as much rain. But then we'll get right back into a similar summer pattern by the beginning of the week. But as far as your weekend's concerned, the diminishing chance of rain, that's going to be your headlines. As far as the beach goes, great day to get out there on the waters, enjoy the sunshine, pick up some rays. 1 to 2 foot seas, don't forget the sunscreen though, and just a light chop, but very high UV index, again with those less clouds, less rain, beautiful sunshine. Good day to take the boat out as well. 1 to 2 foot chop, great day to spend the day on the boat, enjoy your weekend off before the cooler weather arrives, which is just around the corner if we can get there anytime soon, but we'll keep an eye on it. It actually looks like it's arriving in North Georgia. Temperatures in the upper 60s there tonight, 70 for us in Tallahassee, and then another warm day tomorrow, but drier across all of the southeast. But Nikki and Lauren, what's it looking like back at the desk?
I don't know. It's looking great in here, Chris.
I'm having a good time.
We're having a great time back here. You know who wasn't having a good time this past weekend, unfortunately, though, were some of the citizens of Japan.
Exactly. They actually had a tornado pass on through Sunday night and actually injured 48 people and killed 1 teenage boy.
Exactly. Very sad. And the tornado was preliminarily rated an EF2. Winds were approximately 130 to 140 miles an hour. In the tornado, that's just done by the damage. So they looked at the damage and said, estimated the wind speeds from that damage. But actually, tornado is very unusual in Japan.
Oh, yes. And I mean, with 890 buildings approximately destroyed, you could definitely see why this rating was, a 2, very strong. But on the scale of 1 to 5, I mean, not too high, but still.
It wasn't, and we see EF5s here. Still, this is a decently strong tornado, and they only see 15 a year compared to 1,000 a year in the U.S.
Kind of crazy, definitely. Let's go ahead and send things out around the nation, though, right now with Troy.
Alrighty, thank you, ladies. At the desk, so let's jump right into your current temperatures across the lower 48, and look at that in the middle section of the country, just baking in all this heat. 99 degrees in Dallas, Texas, so right around the triple heat mark corner, and a little bit cooler off towards 90 degrees in the city of New Orleans, but even cooler, especially in the Northeast. Look at that, 71 degrees in Detroit. Even look at that, 68 degrees in Boston. That is definitely where I want to be right now, especially this weekend, baking this heat and humidity across the Southeast. And speaking of this humidity, you can see it's indicated by our dew points, which, by the way, shows how much moisture there is in the atmosphere, which in turn shows us how much humidity there is in the atmosphere. You can see very, very humid across Southeast, 71 for your dew point. In New Orleans, when you start to see dew points in the 70s, then that tells you that it's just hot, sticky, and very uncomfortable. And we definitely don't want to see that, especially heading into the fall months, but a little bit less humidity across the Northeast with dew points in the 40s. Now, moving on towards your water vapor imagery, and we're just going to show you that across much of the eastern sections of the United States, very, very dry with not much rain or moisture to work with the exception, of course, along the I-10 corridor, particularly around the southwest corner of the Gulf of Mexico. And we do have some moisture associated with our newly formed tropical depression, which we'll talk about later in the tropical update. Now, in the meantime, as we look ahead at your satellite and radar, you can see that a lot of popcorn showers are popping up across the Gulf of Mexico. You can see right along the I-10 corridor. So for those of you that are traveling, especially for the weekend, you want to make sure that you just stay safe out there and take any precautions in case you do run into some very turbulent weather. But look, in the meantime, the rest of the nation, not looking too bad, with the exception of a little bit of showers on the northern sections of the Great Lakes. And in fact, as you look ahead at that right now, zooming in across the Midwest, you can see showers just moving on through around the upper tier of Michigan, but not looking too bad. In the meantime, we're going to move on towards the Northeast. Same story. So along the I-94 corridor, great travels in store for you there. And looking ahead towards the Southeast, we do have a little bit of popcorn showers popping up along the Florida coast, but not looking too bad either. But make sure you do have that umbrella. Airport delays, clear as a bell, so great air travel, safe for you. And as we look ahead at tonight's forecast, again, a little bit cooler across the eastern sections of the country, 75 degrees for overnight temperature in New Orleans. And finally, as we look ahead at tomorrow's forecast, more of the same, hot, humid across most of the nation's section. Now let's take it back home to Tallahassee with Nicole. And Nicole, are you sick of this heat and humidity like I am?
I'm pretty sick of it. It was blistering hot today, so it wasn't enjoyable at all. We reached highs of 92 degrees with lows of 74, so right on average. We're still not seeing that fall relief that the rest of the country's seeing, but maybe this weekend we'll have a little cool down. Right now it's 83 degrees under partly cloudy skies with a dew point of 71 degrees. Anything over 70 degree dew point is very oppressive, so it's not feeling so hot out right now. It's feeling really hot actually, but not so great. 83 degrees in Tallahassee, 90 in Quincy, 95 in Bainbridge, 79 degrees in Perry right now as they are under rain-cooled conditions as a storm popped on through this afternoon. Current dew point, as I said, anything above 70 feels not so great, so we are sitting at 71 degrees in Tallahassee, 72 in Quincy as well as Bainbridge, and along the coast, 75 degrees in Carabel. Current heat index, you put that dew point together along with the current temperatures, and that's how it feels like outside. 88 in Tallahassee, 97 in Quincy. Hotspot, as always, is Bainbridge at 104. Our satellite and radar, we did have a few sea breeze showers pop on through this afternoon, but right now we are sitting clear and sitting pretty for the rest of the night, as we will see this weekend. Our satellite and radar across the rest of the state of Florida, as Chris mentioned, those storms just exploded this afternoon across the state of Florida, but for us, we don't have too much to worry about. Maybe a pop-up shower this afternoon or later into tonight, but we will have those conditions drying up this weekend. We have a high pressure system that pushed on out that cold front that was just stagnant sitting over the area, but since then those rain chances, they will diminish, so we will have drier conditions. If you have any weekend plans, Great job making those because it will be a beautiful weekend. Tonight's forecast, 72 degrees under partly cloudy skies. That mild and mugginess is still lingering, but things will dry up. And tomorrow's forecast, 92, partly cloudy. Look at that rain chance, less than 20%, so that's great for us. Those storm chances will fall, as well as the winds will be coming out of the west at 5 to 10 miles. Our 7-day forecast, you can see that those rain chances are dropping down to 20%, and the heat is falling down into the lower 90s. Look for the rest of the week to hit up at 30% through Monday, through the rest of the week, as those seasonable summer-like conditions will be coming back on through the area. Let's send it back over to Troy and Casey. Hey guys, what do you have to tell us about?
Alrighty, thank you, Nicole. And speaking of that, we're going to talk about the tropics for a little bit. And as we already mentioned briefly at the beginning of the segment, we do have newly formed tropical depression in the Gulf of Mexico, right off the coast of Mexico.
Right, absolutely. We're tracking that, and that's made landfall, in fact, in the northern part of Mexico, and they've been seeing some torrential rains in that area. Very heavy rain indeed, but also the remnants of tropical depression Gabrielle are in the tropics as well.
Yes, and it made landfall around the Puerto Rico region. That's even though fortunately it didn't amount to anything too threatening, still lots and lots of heavy rain associated with it. And you know, heavy rain does lead to threats for flash flooding and so. And we did have a lot of it going on around that area. So hopefully, people around the area took precautions to prepare for whatever was on the horizon there.
Absolutely, and also we'll be talking more about the record-breaking season in just a little while. But right now, we're going to go ahead and take a look around the state of Florida with Braden.
Thank you very much, Casey. And we're talking about the Sunshine State, but not today. Check out all this rain that has formed over central and north central Florida. Down near Tampa and Orlando, a lot of storms going on. Sea breeze really collided, really caused a lot of thunderstorms today. We're going to be keeping an eye on it. Right now, we're also a little wet, but not as wet as those out down in central Florida. Current temperatures, you can see 73 in Orlando, 77 in Tampa. Again, you can see those thunderstorms are there, still very strong, very downpoury, I guess you could say. 83, though, back home at Tallahassee. Dew points, you can see 72 in Orlando. And what we showed you right then was that it was 74 degrees in Orlando with a dew point of 72. Dew point is a good indicator about the amount of moisture in the atmosphere. The closer the dew point is to the temperature, the more moist it is in the atmosphere. So if it's 72 for the dew point in Orlando and 74 degrees, that means it is very moist out there and it is raining down there. Wind speeds, you can see winds coming out of the east from that sea breeze, 10 to 15 miles an hour in our southern areas out by West Palm Beach and Miami. However, a lot lighter in Tallahassee, a westerly wind from 6 miles an hour. And that's not showing us much right now. You'll go into your futurecast radar that you can see right now, 7 o'clock tonight, there's going to be rain spanning from central to southern Florida. Some heavy rain, maybe not some heavy rain, maybe just a couple showers. You see as we go throughout the day, Saturday morning you're looking good. Maybe a little storm Saturday night up by Tallahassee, again also into Sunday afternoon. Just those sea breeze storms, less than a 20% chance of rain for us over the next couple days. However, in other areas of Florida, it might be a little more. Your beach forecast, winds coming out of the west at about 10 knots. Again, it's still going to be sunny outside. The UV index is going to be very, very high. So you want to make sure that you're putting on some sunscreen, that you're not, if you're going outside, you have sun protection, sunscreen, hats, sunglasses. You don't want to get sunburned. There's a lot of dangerous radiation that could happen if you are outside without protection. For your boating forecast, winds coming out of the west at 5 to 10 knots. It might be a pretty good boating day. A small chance of showers, but other than that, going to be partly cloudy. So if you like taking the boat out, it's going to be a good day to take it out. Sunrise is going to be at 7:18 a.m. tomorrow morning, and sunset at 7:53 p.m. Tonight, looking at 75 in Orlando, 77 in Tampa. So basically mid to upper 70s out in central and south Florida. Lower 70s up in North Florida, 70 Jacksonville, 70 in Tallahassee back home. It's going to be very nice. But for tomorrow, 92 in Orlando, 91 in Tampa. Basically the whole state looking at those partly cloudy skies and the chance for those afternoon thunderstorms. So keep that in mind when you're planning your day. It's going to be a good day to go out. Just make sure you're in by 5 or 6 o'clock, just in case those thunderstorms happen to show up. However, let's go ahead and go into your tropical update. And Alex, what is going on in the tropics right now?
We have quite a lot going on in the tropics, actually. Nothing major, but we do have some stories to talk about. First of all, let me go through and tell you that we have still yet to have a hurricane in the season, but we have had a few storms up to G. Gabrielle recently had formed a few days ago, but has since dissipated and not going to be a big threat. This, however, is our new tropical cyclone. It is a depression that had just made landfall soon after formation in Mexico. This was tropical depression number 8, and our current advisory from 5 p.m. had winds at 35 miles an hour, moving toward the west-southwest at 5 miles an hour. Pressure at 1,009 millibars, so relatively weak, but a very big rain maker indeed. And it's going to slowly trek off into the mountainous region of Mexico and still produce a lot of rainfall. Thank goodness not that much wind, but still a lot of rain nonetheless, so they should keep their eyes out on that. Now, this was the big story a few days ago. This is the remnants of what once was Tropical Storm Gabrielle, now being eaten up by this much bigger convection, a lot of rainfall, that's just eating this up. So now it's just a main rain threat for the Dominican Republic and soon to move into Haiti. Not a wind threat. Doesn't look likely that it will reform into anything anytime soon. And on the east part of the Pacific, we have Tropical Storm Lorena. This is about to make landfall in Baja California. As you can see, tight ball of convection wrapped around, not really enormous. But as we go into the advisory, you can see winds have since strengthened since its previous advisory. Winds are now at 45 miles an hour, gusting to around 58 miles an hour, and you can see it's just about to make landfall as soon as it makes its curve towards the north of the southern tip of Baja California. As we can see, it will rapidly weaken, but like I said about Tropical Depression number 8 in the Gulf of Mexico, this will be a major rain threat, and it's going to slowly take its time and dump quite a lot of rainfall over there over the Baja California until it gets absorbed into the monsoon trough that's been giving all the rain into Arizona and Nevada and the states around that region. Here's a hurricane climatology for this time of year in September. You can see this is the most active month of the hurricane season. Where the red is the highly likely, and the lighter colors mean less and less likely. But as you can see, a lot of possibilities of formation. This is where Gabrielle formed. This is where the tropical depression had just formed. So anywhere we can have some formation. We also have a story to talk about in Africa. We don't have a satellite picture of it just yet, but way off in Africa, there is a very strong tropical wave that once it comes out over the waters, it has a very likely chance of developing into a tropical cyclone. But now let's take it back onto the desk and talk about a record that we might just break.
Absolutely there, Alex. This is the first hurricane season since at least 2002 where we haven't had a hurricane form in the Atlantic Basin this far into the season. In fact, in 2002, we did have a hurricane form on September 11th, and that is the record.
Yes, and that was Hurricane Gustav back in 2002, not the one in 2008 that hit Louisiana that was retired last year. But in the meantime, it's just really been just quite unusual, just the fact that you think we're in the peak of hurricane season, and yet we still have yet to have a hurricane. So that in itself is really, really astonishing factor to really think about. It happens, of course.
Absolutely, Troy. That is pretty incredible. But also, back in 1979, on this day in weather history, Hurricane David was in the northeast part of the country, impacting areas around Pennsylvania. Over 2,000 people were killed from this storm in total. In fact, this extended along the eastern seaboard.
Yes, and Hurricane David did hit Hispaniola as a Category 5 hurricane, and then went to hit the East Coast, Florida, as a Category 2. Fortunately, not as strong as it did in Hispaniola, which bore the brunt of the devastation, but it was still a very dangerous hurricane at that. But in the meantime, we're going to throw it back out to Raquel for your last local. And Raquel, just tell me, how long are we going to have to deal with this heat and humidity?
High is 94 today, and the record for this time is 97 degrees. So we're going to continue to have a nice warm weekend, and that's because we did have a front that was dissipating over us. Current conditions right now is 83 degrees in Tallahassee. As I mentioned earlier, the dew point's at 71, so it is still quite muggy out there. But it will dry out as we head into this weekend. Current conditions right now, 83 in Tallahassee. And along the coast, it's dropped down a little bit slightly, and that's due to the sea breeze. 74 in St. Mark, 78 in Carabel. As we head on to the southeast, we see it's 79 Perry. So just for some reason, Tallahassee and Bainbridge, we're just staying up there in the warm temperatures. And that's because we are more inland. Current dew point temperatures right now, we're still staying quite muggy at 71 degrees, 72 in Bainbridge and 73 in Quincy. So we're still going to see those muggy conditions tonight. Here's our local radar right now. We do see that slight sea breeze effect as we have that moisture just coming out of the Gulf. Not too much going on right now. We do have some pop-up showers along the coastline. Oh, excuse me, there's the pop-up showers now. So we had the pop-up showers just coming up. Earlier today we had a severe weather warning or severe thunderstorm warning actually east of Perry. But that has long been dissipated and we're not seeing too much action right now. We do have this built-in high pressure system that's going to bring those drier conditions to our area. And with drier conditions, lower rain chances. This is going to be the perfect weekend for that color run if any of you guys are doing that this weekend. Or maybe you want to hit the beach, enjoy your last few days of summer. Because summer finally ends mid-September. So for your tonight's forecast, if you're going to go out tonight, your low is going to be 72 degrees, partly cloudy, mild and muggy with a slight breeze. So you might want to dress very light tonight. Tomorrow's forecast, 92 degrees, partly cloudy, and then those storm chances will fall. We do have that slight breeze, but that's not going to relieve us too much. Here's our 7-day forecast right now. We do have that beautiful sunshine just lighting up our weekend, low precipitation chances. We're going to top off at 92 degrees, and we're going to continue to see that until mid-next week, where we just start to see those temperatures just drop off slightly. Look at those lows. I'm still waiting for us to start seeing those 60 degrees. So we're going to just head it back off to the desk. What are you guys' plans for this weekend?
Well, you know what, Raquel? My plans are watching football. And speaking of football, we did have the first NFL game last night, but unfortunately, it was delayed.
Absolutely, Troy. There was a 34-minute delay, in fact, in the game between the Denver Broncos and the Baltimore Ravens. This was in Denver, Colorado. There was some lightning in the area, and due to safety reasons, this game had to be delayed because of that being in the area, and also some rain showers, which do not normally delay NFL games, were also in the area. And now in terms of this, this was the same amount of delay as the Super Bowl last year, which was not weather related, only a 34-minute delay in that as well.
Yes, and anytime you're out in inclement weather, particularly like lightning, you want to definitely seek shelter because that's actually very, very dangerous, especially when you're out in that really just turbulent weather. You want to make sure you take precautions to really stay safe. In the meantime, we're going to look at your 7-day forecast. In the meantime, it's going to still have some slight chance for thunderstorms each and every day, but as we head to later next week, we'll start to dry up a bit, but still we will have a threat for showers and thunderstorms.
Absolutely, but make sure you like us on Facebook.com/FSU Weather, Twitter.com/FSU Weather, and also you can watch us at any time on Livestream.com/FSU Weather. Again, thanks so much for joining us on FSU Weather this evening. I'm Casey Cloud.